It's 2 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, and out of nowhere, your brain drags up something from years ago. A joke that fell flat. A moment your voice shook in front of everyone. You feel your face get warm, right now in the dark, for something that already ended a long time ago. If this happens to you, your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. And once you see why, that memory stops feeling like a punishment. Picture this. You're at a work dinner. You tell a story. You reach for the punchline, and it just doesn't land. Silence. Someone shifts in their seat. You laugh a little too loud to cover it up. That night ends. Everyone else moves on with their lives. But you replay it on the drive home. You replay it before you fall asleep. You replay it a month later while you're brushing your teeth. Sound familiar? That's not a personality flaw. That's a very specific piece of biology, and it's worth understanding. Here's the first thing to know. Your brain does not save memories the way a phone saves photos. It's not storing everything equally and hoping you'll scroll back through it one day. It's sorting all day, every day, deciding what's worth keeping and what gets thrown out. You can't remember what you ate for lunch 2 Tuesdays ago. You can't remember the drive to work last month. That's normal. Your brain deletes almost everything. But the time you tripped in front of a room full of people, that one gets filed away like it's important. Because to your brain it is. The part of your brain in charge of this filing system is small, shaped a bit like an almond, and sits deep in your skull. It's called the amygdala. It's old, older than language, older than the idea of you as a person with a name. Its one job is survival. It's constantly scanning for danger, and when it finds something threatening, it flags it as urgent. Here's the strange part. For almost all of human history, the biggest danger a person faced wasn't a wild animal. It was other people. Getting kicked out of your group. Scientist Robin Dunbar spent years studying how brain size connects to social group size in humans, and his research found that as our social circles grew more complicated, our brains grew right along with them, specifically the parts tied to thinking about other people. We are built to track relationships. We're built to care deeply about where we stand in a group. Because for most of human history, being cast out of the group didn't mean an awkward week. It meant no food, no protection, and a real risk of dying alone. Your amygdala has never gotten the memo that things changed. It doesn't know you live in a world with phones and apartments and grocery stores. As far as it's concerned, a room going quiet after your joke and a genuine physical threat get treated the same way. So when something like that happens, your brain releases a rush of stress chemicals, including adrenaline and norepinephrine, straight into the moment. Think of it as a highlighter. It tells another part of your brain, the hippocampus, which handles memory. This one matters, save it carefully. Researcher James McGaw at the University of California, Irvine spent years studying exactly this. He found that the more emotionally intense a moment is, the deeper and more permanent the memory becomes. Embarrassment triggers this hard, because to your ancient brain, embarrassment isn't a small social slip. It's a warning that your standing in the group might be in danger. There's a second reason these moments stick so well. It's called the self-reference effect, first identified by psychologist Timothy Rogers, and it's been confirmed by researchers many times since. It says that anything connected to your own identity gets remembered more strongly than almost anything else. An embarrassing moment checks that box perfectly. It's a moment where how you see yourself and how others might see you crash into each other in public with witnesses. Your brain treats that collision as something worth locking in. And here's a twist most people don't know. Every time you replay that memory, you're not watching a recording. You're rebuilding it from scratch. Neuroscientist Karim Nader at McGill University showed that memories shift a little every single time we bring them back up. And because embarrassment is rooted in fear of judgment, the version you rebuild tends to get a little worse each time. The faces in the crowd look a little more shocked. The silence lasts a little longer in your head than it did in real life. That's why the memory can feel sharper at 2 a.m. than it did on the actual day it happened. You're not remembering the event. You're remembering your last replay of it, slightly exaggerated. Now here's where this actually starts to help you, instead of just explaining your suffering back to you. The same system that replays your worst moments at night is the exact system that kept your ancestors alive. The amygdala was never trying to make you miserable. It was trying to teach you something. A memory that stings a little is a memory you learned from. That embarrassing moment wasn't stored to torture you. It was stored to sharpen you, to help you read a room better next time, to help you notice social cues faster. Think about what embarrassment actually shows about you. Psychologist June Tangney at George Mason University studied this directly and found that people who feel embarrassment and shame in healthy amounts tend to be more empathetic and better at repairing relationships after a conflict than people who rarely feel it at all. Embarrassment isn't proof something is wrong with you. It's proof you're capable of imagining how you look through someone else's eyes. Psychologists call that ability theory of mind, the skill of understanding what someone else might be thinking or feeling. Most animals can't do this at all. You can, and the small cost of that ability is the occasional replay at 2 a.m. One more thing worth knowing, because it might be the most useful part. Researcher Thomas Jailovich at Cornell University studied something called the spotlight effect and found again and again that other people notice our mistakes far less than we assume and forget them far faster too. The audience in your memory, the one staring at you, judging you, is mostly something your own brain built after the fact. Most people who were actually in that room have already forgotten the moment entirely. They were busy worrying about their own version of the same thing. So the next time it's 2 a.m. and that old memory shows up uninvited, you don't have to fight it. Let it play out. It's just your brain doing the job it's done for thousands of years, trying to keep you safe inside a group. The fact that it still bothers you isn't a weakness. It means you're someone who cares about connection, about belonging, about the people around you. That's not a flaw in your wiring. That's the whole reason the wiring is there. If this changed how you think about your own 2 a.m. replays, tell me about the memory that still visits you sometimes in the comments. And if you want to understand more about how your brain quietly shapes the way you feel every day, subscribe, because there's a lot more of this underneath the surface.